Hi, I'm Essie.
And I'm Elle.
Welcome back to Magic and Mayhem. Okay, hi. So today's episode is going to be our book club pick for October. So we read City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer. This will have spoilers, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, probably don't listen to this episode because we're going to talk about it. But before that, we will do kind of a description of the book to kind of give you an idea, and then we'll get into what we thought.
All right, so brief description of the book. It is Gotham meets Holly Black in a version of our world where when people go to sleep, they can wake up as their worst nightmare. And our main character has an incredible phobia of becoming a nightmare. Her phobia is becoming a nightmare. And any nightmare that exists at all. Ever.
She's deathly afraid of nightmares.
Absolutely terrified. Even if, because in this, even if you become your worst nightmare, sometimes you are still peaceful, more or less. And you can still function in society, even if you look like a giant, I don't know, squid. It's fine as long as you can function. As long as they're still peaceful. It mentions in one place, a woman, her greatest fear was becoming ugly. She became ugly. And then she was fine. And continues to live her life just fine.
She's just ugly now.
Everything's fine.
Most basic fear ever. That's actually a good fear to have, though, because it didn't change her at all, really, other than making her ugly.
Or the one guy who was, his biggest fear is becoming, powerless and unimportant and stuff, and he becomes a baby.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites.
Yes. That was funny.
So, yeah.
But, technically, you can still live and function as long as kind of you're not a murderous, fire-breathing dragon rampaging through a city, And so even when she sees these people, she absolutely loses her ever-loving mind.
Yes. And the city that they're in, which I've already forgotten the name of. Noom?
Noom? No. Yeah, it's like Noom. But it's not how it's spelled, but it's said like Noom.
Yeah. So, Noom is an awful city, first of all. Absolutely horrible.
I think the description of it, comparing it to Gotham, is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it's crime-ridden. It's,
so corrupt.
Corrupt, briberies everywhere. And if you report a crime, you're just as likely to be framed for it. It's pretty terrible.
Yes. But the city does have what they call a nightmare defense, which are people who train to, battle the nightmares that do become violent. So that's a whole section of the city. And the main character lives in the not a cult.
Yes, every single time she says where she is, they're like, "Oh, the cult."
She's like,
and
it's not
a cult.
Friends of something.
What was the Friends of?
Yeah, and I feel like I didn't really realize what was the point of the book till a good way into the book. There was a lot of descriptor of
the nightmares.
The nightmares and the environment and all that. But we didn't really get what's the point until further in the book. Which I didn't mind because I feel like the world building was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the world building. I would never want to live in that city ever, ever, ever.
It's called the City of Nightmares, so...
No, the nightmare part is not the part I'm most worried about.
No, it's the people. Although that's usually the problem. It's not usually the monsters that are the real problem. It's usually the people.
Yeah. Friends of the Restful Soul.
Oh, yeah.
That's a terrible name. To be fair, if I heard that name, I'd be like, yeah, that's completely a cult, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, in the book, someone even mentions, they're like, if you just heard this name, what would you think?
Yeah.
You would think it was a cult.
It's very, very fair. So, that's who she lives with. when we first meet her, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and get into spoilers. So this is your forewarning if you don't want any spoilers for this book. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. But yeah, we're gonna start getting into spoilers, I think, because there's not a lot to talk about without spoiling something. So
Yeah, because the reason she's afraid of nightmares in general is because her older sister, when she was a little kid, turned into a nightmare, and while she was hiding in like a cupboard, devoured their father alive.
yeah.
And then went on to kill a few more people.
One more.
Oh, I thought it was 2.
No, just one more.
Oh, okay. One more person.
She injured 2 others.
Oh, injured. That's right.
Yeah.
And so she is, that was obviously traumatic.
As it would be.
And so, yeah, she's terrified of any and all nightmares. In fact, this poor Chica, she lives intentionally in a little broom closet because it has no windows and one door.
Because she feels safe, and it's really sad.
And, like, she, like, is begging these people to let her stay there in a broom closet, basically.
But they don't. They kick her out.
Yeah. Or they're trying to kick her out anyway.
No, they do kick her out of the closet.
Well, they do kick her out of the closet.
Which is rude.
It is rude.
They're like, oh, we thought you were dead.
Well, yeah. But first we should mention she had almost died.
She did almost die. So that's fair. And she really shouldn't have survived.
She wouldn't have survived had she not befriended a nightmare.
Which I'm still so proud of her for doing, considering how phobic she is.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, but either die by this nightmare or die by drowning. So
yeah, because she's on a boat. The boat explodes, and it was only her and the nightmare who survived because she had chased him out onto the balcony. Well, he was already on the balcony, whatever.
Yeah.
But and then they got locked out there together, and a couple minutes later, the boat explodes, and
everyone dies.
Everyone dies except for them because they were the only ones not in the blast radius.
Yeah, they got knocked into the water, but
and then the boat sank.
Yeah, and the nightmare, whose name is
Sai.
Oh yeah, Sai.
He's a vampire, though.
Yeah, he's a vampire, and he actually saved Ness, which is the main character, from drowning. Because she was going to drown.
Because they were way out there.
But even initially, right after the shock, she couldn't get back up to the surface.
Yeah, because she got plunged down there with some of the ship. And so he pulled her up. And it was kind of funny that he pulls her up, and she's like, oh, you're going to eat me. He's like, really?
The number of times that poor guy has had to deal with her being like, are you gonna eat me now? I'd be like, I might, just to shut you up.
Yeah, honestly, props to Sai and his patience.
I was like, clearly he's not going to. If he hasn't by now, he's not going to.
He's like, yeah, obviously I would totally save you umpteen million times and haul you to shore and all that.
Yeah.
And then still not eat you. And I'm just, biding my time to eat you later as a snack.
Especially because he was hungry then. Like,
yes.
Obviously, they hadn't eaten for like 24 hours, either one of them.
Yes.
So he was hungry, and it's like, if he hasn't eaten you by now, he's not going to.
Poor guy. He was, like, tired, exhausted, and she keeps, like, bombastic side-eyeing him. And he's like, I swear, woman.
It's like, I'm not gonna freaking eat you.
Hi, Maddie.
Maddie has thoughts about this book. And honestly, the whole part with the boat, I expected it to take them way longer to get back to the city. I don't know why.
I mean, it took them a while.
Yeah.
And, but
it didn't take nearly as long as that. The thing I was concerned about, like, the whole book. What is her name? Priya?
Priya, yeah.
Okay, Priya. I was so worried the whole time that she was going to turn out to be, like, either evil or dead. And I was like, please don't. I actually like Priya.
No, Priya is the best.
Priya's awesome. So Priya's the best friend.
Like, basically the first intro we get to Priya is they are doing their air quotes cult work, which is outreach, and they're at the widow's house, who her husband turned into a cockroach
and ate her
arm. It's a thing right in the beginning.
Yeah, this book does not start you off gently at all.
But then this woman gets so upset with the cult members being there, she
passes
passed out, and like Nessie's almost like she almost thinks she did it on purpose, so she could try to kill them.
Which is very possible.
It's perfectly possible. But she does turn into a nightmare, and Priya fights her off while
with a ton of weapons on.
Yes.
Priya's badass.
She is. She's so awesome. And while she's doing all this and defending Ness is hiding under the couch.
And then she runs out the window.
She leaves her.
She just leaves her and runs out the window and runs all the way home and goes under her bed.
Mm-hmm.
And just leaves Priya there.
All she's like, hey, okay, bye.
I so did not like Ness to start with, because I was like, really?
You left your BFF there?
Yeah. Because they're best friends. I'm like, if you didn't like Priya, yeah, maybe. But
yeah, if you
that's
had
your
no
best friend, you just abandoned her.
Yes.
Like, you didn't even pull the alarm or anything.
Nope. And like, she feels bad for it, but she's like, but you know, when it goes, it doesn't matter. When her phobia goes, she goes.
Yeah. But yeah, so Priya did actually take down that nightmare by herself. And rung the alarm by herself.
And got help, subdued everything. The whole thing, all by herself.
Yes. So in the beginning, I was like, I don't really like the main character, but I like the best friend.
Yes.
But yeah, luckily she doesn't die or anything, so that was nice.
Yeah. Although, like, the one who didn't really surprise me as being a bad guy was definitely the director.
Oh, right?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, not, you know.
It's a cult.
It's a cult.
We're in spoilers now. It is a cult.
It's a cult. It is a cult. And you find out later, the leader has been, they don't actually know why, but he's been, or where they go exactly, but he's been shipping people off to be probably murdered and turned into nightmares or something.
Yeah. Well, and it turns out, like in the city in general, like, child trafficking is huge. People trafficking is huge. But yeah, apparently there's a whole thing for, like, people will pay for nightmares, to have nightmares as, like, pets or
kind of a guard
or all kinds of things. So, like, nightmare trafficking is a thing.
Because if you get a nightmare, sometimes there's something like a pterodactyl.
I love the pterodactyl.
I love the pterodactyl as well.
I hate the owner of the pterodactyl, but I love the pterodactyl.
The owner is terrible.
I want the pterodactyl to eat its owner.
I mean, probably book 2. I'm waiting for this.
I'm holding out hope for it.
But yeah, like they basically keep these, you know, probably most of the time gigantic nightmares as, you know, people deterrents.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a pterodactyl at the front door so no one comes in.
I mean, honestly, not a bad plan. But yeah, so it's basically like nightmare, which are still people. They're just people who've turned into a whatever
they're afraid of. Yeah.
So it can be a dragon. It can be a gigantic spider. It can be, you know,
like a giant ape thing was one of them.
Yeah, and
but
like
with scales.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Apparently, a dragon bled into the water one time, a nightmare dragon, and so you can catch dragonness.
Yeah, you can where you have scales. Yeah, that was the thing. Some people had scales from drinking the water, like in stuff. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do more of that in the second book because I
I
feel like not
think
much happened with that.
No. So who knows? Book 2, who knows where that's gonna go exactly, but yeah, there are some that are contagious like that, where you're not a nightmare, but you have certain traits,
Yeah,
like the scales.
they had a whole bunch that are contagious, like being a vampire is contagious, being a werewolf, certain ones are contagious. But they're called contagious nightmares.
So Ness, even, she's like hyper vigilant. She wears gloves all the time just in case someone might be contagious around her.
Even though there's only been 2 nightmares ever that were contagious by touch.
Yes, does not matter. And she was pretty funny to me through it. Just like with her taking off, that was kind of entertaining. Like, I felt bad for Apriya, but it was kind of entertaining still.
Okay, so this is just a generic question. We're gonna bounce around probably anyway, but generic question. Were you at all surprised that the Nightmare Defense ended up being bad?
Oh, no.
I wasn't either.
I mean, the first time we saw, I don't remember his name now, the bro dude. I mean, he was, okay?
He is, yeah.
Like, the super bro dude. It's really obvious.
What is his name?
I can't remember.
That's like, how important he is to us. We don't even know his name.
Well, like, he signs autographs with the monster he just killed. It's blood.
Yeah, I'm like,
really creepy dude.
Why
and
are you like this?
Incredibly stuck up. And
don't like him.
Like, it was so obvious they had to be evil just from looking at this dude.
Right.
Like, he did not care. Like the monster he killed, it had a woman, he didn't even try to save the woman.
No, absolutely didn't care.
And he didn't even, it did not bother him at all that she died in the process of him killing the monster. Didn't care. Did not care.
Charlie Chambers.
Oh, Charlie Chambers.
I remembered it was a really dumb name.
It is, yeah. So
Terrible
Charlie Chambers, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
all surprised.
Honestly, it was so clear that they could not be nice people just by the example we were given there.
Yeah, I was not at all surprised they ended up being bad people. And I also... Let's see, what else was I not surprised at? I wasn't surprised at that. I wasn't surprised at much. Wasn't surprised the director was a terrible person, too, or a terrible lizard in this case. I don't know.
Were you surprised at Cindy? I think her name is Cindy, right?
Yeah. No, not... I wasn't surprised that she wasn't who she originally pretended to be. I don't know that I was surprised that she lied about it either. I was a little surprised she disappeared as fast as she did, but honestly, that was smart. Because, I mean, she was the original target, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would run like crap, too.
Yeah, because it was revealed later, they figured out the boat exploding. Number 1, obviously, not an accident.
Yeah.
Number 2... They were trying to figure out who the singular target was, but it was not a singular target. It was, they had lured everyone they wanted to die onto a boat.
At one time.
Ness originally wasn't supposed to be on the boat. It was supposed to be Cindy.
Yeah.
Who was taking the mail.
And they traded last minute, so that didn't turn out well for Ness, actually.
I mean, it didn't turn out in the long run completely bad either.
True.
Because she was going to get shipped off to be killed or whatever by the director.
We still don't even know.
Either way.
I'm betting a lot of this stuff. Because, I mean, yes, book 1 has a nice ending and all that, but a lot of stuff is still unanswered. So I'm assuming all that's going to be answered in book 2.
Yeah.
Or at least some of it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because we still don't know why the cult was trafficking nightmares. I mean, we can guess, but we don't know why for sure. Or
and it was interesting. No one was taking credit for that one attempt on Ness's life. Like, everyone was like, "No, that wasn't me."
The assassin?
Yeah.
Oh, that was at the end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that was at the end. I wonder, because I was like, no one sent the assassin? What
forgot for a minute about that. Yeah.
That one I wasn't that surprised about either, but the way she handled him.
No, I like how she handled it. Oh my
gosh, I love how she...
That was fantastic.
He deserved all that and worse.
He absolutely deserved it.
He deserved worse than that, honestly.
He really got at least his comeuppance, though.
Mr. Columb.
Yeah.
Columb? Is that how you say that?
Yeah. The way he acted was suspicious right off.
But, to be fair, if he hadn't slipped, she never would have even considered the fact that her sister did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Which it turns out she did, by the way.
Turns out, yeah, the sister figured out that she was, in fact, not being sent to this really prestigious school that her father and these other people were saying that she was. She was definitely going to be trafficked. And, Ness hadn't put it together before, but, like, the father suddenly having a raise from work.
Yeah.
And
suddenly, when everyone else is being laid off, suddenly he gets a raise.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
But the sister figured out their father, was going to sell her to some kind of trafficking. And she figured, too, if he was going to do it to her, he'd definitely do it to Ness, her younger sister. So she headed off that little endeavor.
By turning into a giant spider and eating him. Which, honestly, fair. Fair.
And she went and ate one of the other people she knew was in on it.
Yes. She didn't get to everyone, but... Because I'm pretty sure she did know the teacher wasn't on it, but...
She probably was headed there, but didn't get there.
Yeah, because it's like Ness was saying, it was weird that she went, like, halfway across town, but only 2 people died. Like, she didn't attack anyone else. It's like, because she had very specific people in mind.
Yes.
That she was targeting. So,
yeah.
I thought that was interesting. The reveal that the people don't lose their mind when they become nightmares. They just change physically. That was interesting.
Well, and it takes away their inhibitions.
Yeah.
So that whatever they wanted before can come forward.
And actually do it. So it turns out a lot of people are terrible. We kind of knew that.
Yes. I mean, I can understand why the sister did it, though.
Oh,
She's like, you're going to kill me? Fine, I'll get you first.
Well, not only her, but her little sister. She was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, and all that time Ness thought she would have killed her if she'd seen her wasn't true. She wouldn't. No.
She didn't even look for her. She didn't. Yeah. She even says that in her flashbacks before she realizes she never even looked for her. She just went left outside. Yeah. And went and found the mailman and ate him too. You know.
Yeah. So I did think it was interesting too. I had wondered though, since some people didn't lose their minds.
Yeah. I wondered that too.
It was a little bit suspicious.
Well, they did try and say it depends on how intelligent the thing you're afraid of is.
Yeah. Which
would have made sense also. But like the guy that turned into like an ape thing, like most apes are pretty smart. Like
yeah.
He wouldn't have lost that much.
No.
Intelligence.
He might have lost like the ability to speak or something.
Yeah.
You know, you could buy that.
Yeah.
But not the rest. Not like killing his significant other and like rampaging. I believe it was supposed to be his significant other.
Well, maybe they'd had a fight or something.
Yeah.
But
also though, I just have to say how incredibly dumb all these people are to like drinking nullifies the drug to keep you from having nightmares. Yeah, all these idiots.
Oh yeah, they're so stupid.
Like how I do not understand the level of stupidity of intentionally taking something that would turn you into something, like, unless you have a reason, unless you want to become one. Why? Tell me why.
Like, it won't happen to me, honey. Yes, it will. Also,
obviously
when you turn into a nightmare, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, most of the time.
Likely. Or trafficked, which isn't any better.
Like, how stupid. Like, the people taking things that negate.
Yeah.
I was just like, the whole book, I was like, you
What?
idiot.
Right?
You idiot.
Like, why?
Why would you risk it? Even if you're like 90% sure you wouldn't turn. Like, no.
That 10% still not worth it.
No.
Because nothing good happens to you after you turn into a nightmare. Not one.
No. Like, either you're permanently like a lizard or you get killed.
Or you get killed, or you get trafficked.
Yeah.
Like, those are literally your options. Why would you even risk that? I don't understand.
I was consistently like, you idiot.
Right?
You idiot.
Why? Ugh. At that point, you're kind of like, okay, if you turn into a nightmare and die, that's kind of on you now.
Yeah.
I don't really even feel bad for you because you literally just made that choice. Although I really enjoyed Sai as a character.
Yes, I love Sai.
He's great.
Like,
I feel horrible for him.
I mean, yeah, he had a terrible life.
But
like, honestly, good on him for like coming into his own and realize that, like, you know, he could have just gone along and accepted the whole thing, but he's like, no, you're a dick. And I don't want to be anything like you.
Right?
Because his dad is intentionally a monster.
Of the worst kind.
Like, absolutely horrible trash.
Like, just the whole fact that he's a vampire aside.
Well, he went out and sought it out someone to make him a vampire. Like, it was not an accident. He did it on purpose.
Yeah.
So that he would have the powers and all this, and then he capitalized on it further, and just so he could be the worst human possible.
Yes. And society will excuse him for it because he glamorized it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, can we murder him in the second book?
Honestly.
Can that be a thing? I want him to die in the second book.
Honestly. Like, I feel like Ness really needs to go find her new nightmare pal that she, like, honestly, he still owes her. Like, he waited, like, a couple 100 years to get out.
Right? Oh, him.
Yeah, him.
Oh, the Phantom. The Nightmare Phantom.
That one.
I was like,
yes.
What?
Needs to go find her nightmare pal that she, and only she, had been able to let out. And he still owes her for that.
What do we think is the likelihood that he's going to be the villain in the second one?
I don't know. Because he could be the villain or he could be the hero. You never know.
He was technically kind of the hero in this one.
Yes.
But the epilogue makes me kind of... But I think it's supposed to make you feel like he's going to be the villain in the next one. But I don't know. Because he genuinely thought he was helping people.
Yeah, he kind of thought he was doing a good thing.
I mean, he also doesn't care because he thinks it's fun, but...
Yeah, he thinks it's fun. He's very much a fae spirit type.
Yeah. I mean, it's called a phantom for crying out loud. But...
So he's like a trickster. He's the one who's been turning people when they sleep into these nightmares. But it was because he was trapped.
Yeah.
In this nightmare realm.
For 100 years. So someone trapped him there. He did imply that.
Yes.
Someone trapped him. So I'm going to guess he's going to go try and find that someone if they're still around. I hope it's most the father.
I mean,
it's probably not.
Know.
But
we may or may not have met that someone yet.
Yeah. 100 years, it's hard to say.
Yeah, but they would have to be something.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Too. Something similar.
You would
to
think.
Trap something like him.
You would think so. I mean, is he kind of a terrible being too? Yeah, I mean, a little, yeah. See, some people didn't want to be turned into nightmares.
Yes.
But
he didn't actually take away their minds. He just kind of did give them...
And to be fair, unlike most of the characters in this story, he was true to his word.
He actually was. I had to give him props for that.
Most of the characters in this story are not.
No, most of them are not. most of them, they're terrible, lying, awful SOBs.
Yes.
And
this will not make you think well of the human race.
Oh, definitely not.
We already didn't, so it's fine. But
yeah. I mean, like, this book was just like, no, I agree. Yeah. Totally, fully agree.
Yeah. But, I mean, he kept his word. When she freed him, he did what he said. It helped her break out and all that. And, I mean...
And all he, he
didn't actually even kill anybody.
He didn't. He just turned them into nightmares.
The only people that died were the people that...
They killed each other.
They were trying to kill him and they messed up. Because apparently his body is, like, bulletproof.
Yeah.
And it, like, ricochets bullets, so...
Rather than...
And they kept firing, like why?
Also incredibly stupid.
Why?
It's just like all the villains who keep shooting at Superman, and you're like... Why? Stupid.
Right? You're like, you can literally see that it's not working.
And yet you keep doing it. Why?
Why are you like this?
Why do you keep shooting?
But, yes.
Like, they're like, oh, if I just keep going, surely it'll work No, it will not work eventually. No. Stop it.
It's not gonna suddenly start working. But,
yeah. So...
I will say, though, I know, like, in the book, in a lot of points, we are supposed to feel, like, a certain type of way for the main character, like, scared for her, or feel bad for her, like, when she's really upset and losing her home, and
well, and you do kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah, I didn't feel for her that much, though.
Well,
and I usually am very empathetic.
It was written in such a way where you were still, like, you're like, oh yeah, that's sad for you, but you're still waiting for what's gonna happen to her, because it's clearly not gonna be over.
Yeah, true.
So you're not really scared for her, because it's so obviously not it for her, and you're also like, well, they are a cult, so...
Right.
I mean, are you really that bad off?
Yeah, so that is part of it. You're like, that might be better if you go anyway. Yeah,
because it was kind of incredibly odd. Like, I mean, granted, I'm hyper suspicious
of everything,
and I'm, like, usually not terribly surprised in plots, because I was already like, no, you're probably all evil anyway, and you're probably doing... the worst you can do.
You were right in this case.
It was about what I assumed. I mean, honestly, though, him trying to ship her off, and it's like, why do you want to ship her off?
Yeah.
Like, all she has is a broom closet. It's not like you have...
Yeah.
Like, it's already sus.
Also, where are you getting all the money to house all these people and feed all these people? And
because they're not supposed to make money in the cult.
Yeah.
And, all this stuff. They're not supposed to do any of that. So, where's your money coming from? Where is your money coming? Although, it was so you're just like, oh, Ness, honey, sweetie, baby. When she sees him with a secret room. And she's like, oh yeah,
that makes sense. Fine.
That's no big, it's totally makes sense why you would have that.
What?
No, Ness, it doesn't make sense. No, normal, non-villainous person has a secret room. Okay, maybe some of them, but
suspicious. What is wrong with you?
But if maybe some people have secret rooms and they're totally on the level. I would have a secret room. That's fine, but not when you're a cult leader. Okay,
no.
No.
And the fact that she just accepts that, they're just filing cabinets. There's just files. What?
No.
There could literally anything in the filing cabinets. You don't know.
Absolutely not.
What is wrong with you?
Don't just smile and nod when you catch him in a secret room.
Oh, Priya's reaction to that was great.
Yes.
She's like, what? She's like, and you thought that this was normal and okay.
She's like, what? Really? Really? Come on.
I feel like sometimes she wants to smack Ness.
Yes.
Why are you the way that you are?
She's like, Seriously, though.
You know this is a terrible city and everyone in it is terrible, and yet you trust, like, everybody. Why?
Yeah, she just assumes. It's like, oh yeah, sounds fine.
Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful.
Completely. Although, she trusts everyone except for the guy who kept saving her life.
Like, no. Like, that's so unfair to him.
I mean, yeah, she came around. Thank goodness.
Right? I was gonna be like, if you don't start being nice to him, I
After
swear.
this poor guy did all this for you, with you side-eyeing him all the time.
I was like, would you chill out? Like, you already gave him the perfect opportunity, like, 12 times.
Yes.
He's not gonna take it.
And he woke her up the first time she saw the Phantom, who was going to turn her into a nightmare. And at that point, he probably would have.
Yes. Definitely he would have.
And he woke her up.
Yeah. Hitting her with a rock. But, you know.
It
was what it was.
He knew she'd freak out if...
like, if he was standing over her. That would not have gone well.
Yes. She wasn't injured. She just woke up.
I know. Just thought it was hilarious. I was like...
Yes. I mean, he deserved a little bit of payback after
he did. That's what
antics.
I'm saying. She kind of deserved it. Yeah, he woke her up because he knew she was having a nightmare. So he was like, crap, I gotta wake her up. Rock. Because he couldn't go to her.
Yes. Because she freaked out anytime he did.
Well, and she was in the sunlight, remember?
And she was in the sunlight, yeah.
So he's like, I literally cannot. So, rock.
Yes.
It did say it wasn't a big rock.
Yes.
But, like, what else was he supposed to do? Is either that or she would literally turn into a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
He just happened to wake her up just in time, which was wonderful. So it's like, he saved her life minimum 3 times, like, in one night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and you still do not trust this guy. Even a little.
Yes.
Like, you're not going to even give him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, she did eventually,
Yeah.
but it took her a while.
I was like, oh my gosh.
So hitting her with a rock was probably payback.
I would have done it for that. Be like, this hoe hits her with a rock.
Like, how many times do I gotta save this woman's life before...
And have her still in doubt, think I'm going to attack her.
Like, and I am completely and absolutely exhausted because I had to drag her to shore and from the middle of the ocean.
Right?
Basically. Like, yeah.
Because she would have drowned. She wouldn't have been able to make it to shore.
Nope. Well, and the police even, that was why they were suspecting her. Is they're like, there's absolutely 0% chance that you made it to shore.
Yeah.
The way that you said you did.
You did. Yeah.
Because she was trying to be nice and not involve Sai in it because he didn't want to be involved.
Yeah.
And so she said she swam to shore herself.
And
they're like, no.
The explosion threw me really far.
I know, I would have said that too.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, why didn't you just say the explosion threw you, like,
yeah,
really far away?
Yeah.
Closer to shore.
That would have made, if you're planning, which she was, planning to leave him out of it.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little bit of a plausible deniability.
Well, because she even admitted before that she knew she wouldn't have made it to shore without him.
Yeah.
So she knew that it wasn't, like, implausible that she could have made it. Mm-hmm. So why not just say...
So don't then turn around and be like, oh yeah, I swam.
I swam. Just turn into an Olympic swimmer. Yeah. Plus have the, energy level of
a nightmare.
Yeah. Suddenly.
Yeah.
Without warning. But I'm not a nightmare.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no. Absolutely not.
Oh, I was just like, sweetie.
I was thinking that while she was telling the officer, I was like, no, what is wrong with you?
Why did she go to the police to begin with, though, at that one time? Why? She knew they weren't going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
She knew it was only going to make things worse.
Yeah.
Why? Like, they're not going to help.
It's still her trusting nature thing going on. It's like, honey.
They're not going to help you.
No.
They almost arrested you.
Mm.
Like, I was like, Ness, I'm going to shake you.
Yeah, Ness does not always display common sense.
Oh my gosh.
For being as terrified of everyone as she is, she's very trusting.
Right? I'm like, this makes no sense. It's pretty much like if they're human, she trusts them. If they're nightmare, she doesn't. And most of the time, that should be flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you've got it backwards.
Like in pretty much any plot ever, a good chunk of the time, it's not the monsters you should be worried about.
Oh, although I did forget to mention, I did like Estelle a lot too.
Oh yeah,
I liked Estelle.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like I also liked the like Estelle. She like barely knew her, but she's like, but I'll come for I'll come
she's
for
like,
people.
If he touches you,
I will come for you. Like, well, all right then.
She's like, I will let you starve.
Yes.
If you so much as touch her.
Like, honestly, that is the kind of girls support girls that I want to see in my books.
Right? Exactly.
This is the level that I would like to see in books.
Which it did make me feel slightly bad for Sai, but I also understand why she did it.
Yes.
Because you just, the kind of world they live in, you kind of had to.
Her and her friend, like, they're like, he's always good to us.
Yeah.
However, you never want to trust someone too far.
Yeah.
And,
like, they'd never gone to his house, so
and, like,
that was different.
Yeah.
And she didn't actually know how Sai knew this girl. Like, she didn't know how Ness and Sai knew each other.
Yeah.
Or what was, happening or any of that. So, fair.
Yeah. It is. I think she was like, no, this girl is dumb as ever. She's like, I gotta get this girl some street smarts before she dies.
She's not wrong at all. Oh, this girl's survival instincts are the worst.
Absolutely the worst.
I'm just like, how are you still alive?
Right? Seriously.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Let's say, starting out reading it, I think the first, however long, 50 pages, 60 pages, I really wasn't sure how I felt about it. Although, the other thing, I'm like, the number of times that they described the sister eating the father, I'm like, do we need to hear this 12 times?
Yeah.
That was a lot. But
yes.
I was like, okay. But
I was perfectly fine with it.
I mean, it wasn't bothering me really, even though I'm not a huge fan of spiders. But it wasn't really bothering me because I kept like picturing it as a giant puppet for some reason.
Oh, no, the Muppets,
like a giant puppet spider thing. I don't know, but it was a lot. They described it a lot, but the first 50 pages. Well, like
one of the sub-genres is horror, though. So
yeah, it's definitely light-hearted horror.
Yeah. Horror light.
Yeah. It's like if you were interested in trying horror, but you're not sure you can handle it kind of horror.
Yeah. Like beginner level horror.
Yeah. Basically when the boat explodes, then I start to like it. Before that, I was unsure. It wasn't that I disliked it. I wasn't going to DNF it or anything. I just wasn't sure. But then once the boat explodes, I definitely started getting better for me, personally. Although I still love at the end, the Priya's like, what do you mean I can't enjoy the night of defense? Of course I can.
She's like, who said?
Who says I can't do that?
She's like, I'm still gonna go and I'm gonna do what I want. Which I love Priya for. She's like, no one's stopping me from doing whatever I want.
I love her line, if I was fazed by a little assassination and corruption, I'd never get a job in this city.
I mean, she's not wrong about
that. She's not wrong,
either.
but it's so hilarious.
I think my favorite part of the whole book was probably when she let out the Phantom.
That was very awesome.
And where our, what was it? Chadwick? Charlie. Where Charlie gets turned into a baby.
I love that so much. Because that's worse than if he just killed him.
Yes.
Now he's just a baby forever.
Yes, forever, because he'll never grow up, because that is a
That is the
nightmare.
nightmare.
He won't get over it. This guy, because like earlier, I loved what she did though, when she's like, oh, he's Mr. Ego. And so she intentionally
poked at it.
She's
I
like,
know.
"Oh, you were the one with the dragon in Wisconsin or whatever." He's like, "No, that was so and so." And then she's like, "Oh,
the volcano guy."
No, that was he was getting madder and madder every time she got it wrong, and she's like, "Ha ha."
I love it so much. I love her attitude is, if I'm going down, I'm gonna be a bitch first.
Yeah, she's like, "I will destroy your emotional stability first."
And she did that twice. She did that with him, and she did it with the Beth.
Yes.
Where she's like, okay, well, if I'm dying anyway...
well, then I will tell you what I think.
I'm going to screw you over first.
Yes.
I love the part with Ness and Sai on the boat the second time. Where she's teasing him about being his friend.
Yeah.
That was cute.
That was very cute.
I also love the part where she hit the director over the head with the drawer, and she was so proud of herself.
Yes.
And I was like, yes. We love to see it. There was another one, and I was like, yes. Finally, we love to see the growth.
Oh, yeah. She went through a ton of growth in this book.
She really did. Oh, when she was screwing over Mr. Columb or whatever his name was. Oh, yeah. That was great.
Yeah. Where she's like,
so mad.
By the way, I did this and this and this and
she's
this. She's
like, not only did I ruin your job, ruin your scam, but also you gonna die. But not by me.
Not by me, but, by your own actions.
Yes.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
See, she did give him out. If he hadn't hired the assassin, nothing would have happened.
It's true.
But,
he did.
He did, yeah. He did. So, sucks to suck.
Well, and, he was selling kids off to become nightmares or whatever, so, no one's gonna miss you,
yeah,
dude.
No one's gonna mind that you're dead. Although, hopefully they didn't send the same assassin that they sent after Ness, because she did not seem to know what she was doing.
Although, she could probably handle this guy.
True.
Because, Older guy. And even Ness mentioned, he's only used to fighting 13-year-olds.
Children, yeah. Basically children. I thought it was 12. Either way.
Whatever. But,
not someone actually, his equal.
Yeah. So, she's like, even I can best him, so...
Yeah. And she mentions a couple times that she's not big. She's that she's small and short. She mentions it a couple times, so...
Yeah.
If even she can do it,
yeah.
Well, just he grabbed her and she just got out of his grip like it was nothing. She was like, thanks, Priya.
Yeah. I mean, good on Priya for teaching this girl some self-defense. She
clearly needs it, yes.
She needed it.
So, that was fun. I think originally when I finished the book, I was going to give it 4.5 stars. Because of the first 40 pages, but then I was like, nah, I think that's on me. So I ended up giving it 5 stars because I just rated it based on my enjoyment. And my enjoyment was 5 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 5 stars as well because I was enjoying it the entire time. I was I had a feeling that Ness was going to go through a lot of character growth, so I was waiting.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I was like...
She had to. Based on how it started, she had to go through a lot of character development.
Yes. So I was in for character development, and I was having a grand time. And I was kind of... I felt a little bit bad for her that she was kind of failing at every turn. But it was still entertaining to watch her fail at every turn.
Yeah, it never felt considering how depressing the situations were and depressing the city was and all the things that were going horribly wrong for her and everything, it never felt really depressing to you as a reader.
Yeah. I don't think it was intended to.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it was
because then it would be kind of a slog to get through.
Yeah.
Although it was super fast to read.
Oh, yeah.
So quick.
We both read it in a day.
Yeah, like in a
or
few
less
hours. Yeah.
Than a day. Well, you know what I mean.
I think you read it in like 2 hours?
I have no idea.
A little over, maybe?
I mean, I'm sure it would probably take me longer than that, but...
Well, I read it in 3, but that was with me taking 3 breaks, too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you read faster than I do, even, so...
I don't really know, because I wasn't planning on reading it all, and then because you had asked me if I was going to finish,
and you said
and
no.
I was like, no, I'm not, and then I had to text you back and be like, I lied.
I was like, you had finished it, didn't you? And you're like, yes, I did.
Of course I did.
But that was the thing, I was going to stop too, like a little past the halfway point. I was like page like 220 something. I was gonna stop, and I put it down for like 15 minutes, and then I picked it back up and finished it. So I also failed at not finishing it.
We're like, oh well, we'll do half today, half tomorrow, and we both were liars.
Just finish, but you want to finish it. You want it makes you want to keep reading to see what happens and how. Like, Ness is going to deal with everything, and I actually like, too, that they didn't make it so, like, she had to fix everything.
Yeah.
She had to, like, do all the work and, like, save the world and all that.
The main character syndrome.
Yeah. They'd fix the entire world. She was like, yeah, no, I can't. But I will fix what I can.
Yeah. Well, and
that worked out really well.
Yeah, like, granted, she had a lot of help, but she had a lot of hindrance, too.
Yeah. So the second one's called Cage of Dreams, and I'm very...
And you said the next one has a T-Rex on it?
Yeah, it has a T-Rex on the front. However, the fairy lit editions of these books are so pretty. And I'm so pleased. I said before we even read it that if it got a 3 or higher from me, I would buy the second one in the pretty edition, because that's how beautiful these are. But then I got a 5, so it's fine.
Yeah. It was really good. I
know I
had a good time. I had a fantastic time.
Yeah. I think I know a lot of people rate it lower. I think that is based on expectations, though. If you go in thinking it's going to be just a straight up horror, you're not going to be happy. No. Because it's not that.
Because it's funny. It is actually kind of lighthearted for the material.
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't tag it as lighthearted, but
probably not. But it is like it is and it isn't. Like the material is like with this giant spider eating.
Yeah.
The father. It's traumatic. She's got a lot of trauma in her history. So, and also the cult, like, training her to be terrified.
Yes, they literally, like, purposely made her afraid of nightmares.
So that they could ship her off to that place and she even says this, she's like, they basically trained me so that I would be grateful.
Yes.
For this, whatever they gave me.
For the transfer, instead of being kicked out on the street. Which is messed up in of itself.
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say, I hope in the second one, while we were talking about the second one, I really hope in the second one that Sai and Dev get back together as friends.
Oh, yeah, I
want that so bad.
Well, it looks good, though.
Yeah. But it doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Like, that was a really messed up thing.
Yeah.
With his fiance or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're fiance.
Her being... like, so controlling.
I would have been okay if, the Phantom had touched her and turned
I mean, it may happen.
So, I would have been fine with that. But
I almost wondered if she isn't already a nightmare.
I don't know.
And they just don't know it.
What would she be, though?
Well, because it talked about her looks being, like, kind of weird.
Yeah.
And...
like, very over the top.
Like, her hair already being like kind of whitish and
Yeah.
all like I kind of wondered if she wasn't already one
Maybe.
of some kind.
Either way, I hope she dies.
Yeah, either way, she wasn't a great.
She's horrible.
Yeah.
And I hope
she doesn't need a redemption arc. She can
No.
go.
No, she doesn't. And I hope Sai and Dev get back together in the second one because I was like,
well, it was so screwed up that she was gonna basically make him kill his own friend because he invited him. So therefore, since
it was his fault,
like it would be in his mind without him knowing she pulled the strings.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, like I got my best friend killed.
And it was so clear he missed Sai so much and how much he cared about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, baby.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Like, that's when you're like, get out of this, really. Get out.
Yeah.
Run.
And he realized what was happening and he's like...
Yeah, he figured it out, but a little late.
Not. Yeah, a little too late. But, I mean, Sai's alive.
He's alive. It's okay.
So I'm hoping they reconcile. And, you know, the Beth jumps off a cliff.
Mm-hmm. Or he can push her.
Yeah, either way.
Good time reading it. I am looking forward to the next one to see what happens.
You're going to read it before me, aren't you?
I don't know.
Probably.
All right. So, in wrap up, we both enjoyed this book. Looking forward to the next book.
Yay. This is a good one.
Yeah, the end.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Magic and Mayhem. All right, bye.